Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to part 31 of the GTO Trainer. First hand here, we open under the gun +2 with pocket tens, facing a 3-bet from the big blind. So all ins definitely off the table. We're definitely not folding. So it's between a call and a raise. I believe pocket tens would prefer a call here. Utilize our playing in position. Try to keep the big blind's range nice and wide. Raising 22 might be at like a very small frequency. Potential. Oh, no, it's a correct move. My bad. So I'm guessing it should have been a raise, most likely. Hang on, let's have a look here. Should have been a fold. Fold. Damn, that's tight. Damn, that is tight. Is that how tight you're supposed to play? Like, I would understand if it was from a later position and you're playing out of position, maybe. Okay, but damn, I've put fold straight out of my mind. Okay, well, damn. Because, well, I guess maybe the thought process is, the big blind's is 3-betting a very strong under the gun +2 range. Therefore, the big blind's 3-bet is going to be very, very strong, especially considering they're going to be out of position and considering that they are incentivized just to complete a lot of times and less incentivized due to being out of position, due to being against a very strong range. They're less incentivized to put more money into a pot and play a bigger pot heads up out of position, as they've already isolated a heads up situation, so they don't have to get anyone out of the pot. They don't have to be worried about anyone coming in behind, creating a multi-way pot where they might be out of position to 2-3 players, or just be playing piggy in the middle between 2 players, for example. But when they check queen high board, so that's going to favor both our ranges, really. Both of us have ace queen, both of us have king queen in our range here. So I reckon we start off, we could either go with a very small sizing, like size down to a 1/5, or we can go about a 1/3 pot, 8.1, or we can just go with a check, try to keep their range nice and wide, take our showdown value, but I definitely prefer to try to bet on this flop. We do have a hand that wants a lot of protection. They would most likely continue with a lot of their ace highs that haven't connected with this. Their king high, they're not going to have much king highs because that's only really king jack, maybe king 10 at a small frequency that we are blocking as well. So I'm going to lean towards smaller sizing. Evidently that was the wrong. Oh damn! When we get check raised. Okay, well I reckon this is a nice easy snap fold. A call? Why? Okay. So, okay, yeah, I hear the check back here. That makes sense to me, check back here. Just trying to take our showdown value to the end. I understand that. I can hear that, okay? But in no... Sorry, did that just say fold 44% of the time? King, queen? I'm sorry? There's no shot we have ace, queen. I mean, we might have ace, queen at some frequency. There's no shot you're folding top pair, second kicker. There's absolutely no way. Like, yeah, sure, we could have eights. Like, that's how you... would be how you would play eights. Okay, but if you're folding... They're essentially telling you to fold absolutely everything 44% of the time. That's insane. And then they're saying that we should be calling with just second pair against a check raise on a dry, static flop. Okay, there's no draws that they could have. Okay, they either have they're completely polarized, absolutely completely polarized. Okay, they either have a nutted hand, i.e. queens, eights, they don't have fours, or they got a queen 8 somehow, which they probably don't have. They don't have queen 8. Okay, so effectively all they have is a queen top pair, overpair, so kings or aces, which they do still have in their range. Okay, and there's no shot that we should ever be calling there. Like, we only have 2 outs, realistically, against their range right now. Because there's no draws for them to be doing this with. They could, if they're doing it with complete air, then, fair dues, okay? All the power to you. Eventually, it's going to blow up in their face, but, if they want to do it, they can do it, okay? There's just no conceivable reason for us to ever call here. This is exactly the same as the last episode. I think it was the Queen 10 hand. Okay, there's just no conceivable way. No, it wasn't the Queen 10 hand. That's a different hand. But there was another situation exactly like this, where we got 3-bet. Okay, I think it was on the flop, or maybe it was on the turn, something like that. But we got 3-bet after a post flop. Okay, and they said that we should be calling with something that should, in my opinion, this is, okay, look, it could be a bluff, but it's a stone air bluff. It's completely polarized. Okay, they're not turning, they're turning air into a bluff. They're turning the ace high into a bluff. Okay, and if they've got a pair, okay, if they've got a queen pair, okay, or if they've got an overpair, we have 2 clean outs for a total of 8% equity. Okay, like we're either way ahead or way behind. Okay, and if we call here, okay, so if we call here, so there's 46 added on to that 23. Okay, so that's about 76 bigs in the middle. We're leaving 64 behind. Okay, so we are all in on the turn most likely, or at minimum all in on the river. Okay, so we're essentially calling here with the full knowledge that we are fully prepared to go all in. So this isn't just calling 24 bigs. This is calling 100 bigs. This all of our stack, 83 bigs. We are calling 83 bigs with this. Okay, and I would not be calling 83 bigs on a queen high board when the big blind has all of the strong queen X. We don't have. Yes, sure, we can have ace queen. Okay, we can show up here with some ace queen. Ace queen would still probably call under the gun. Okay, under the gun +2. Okay, I'll definitely raise it. Okay, that's no doubt. I could have ace queen here, potentially. Okay, but that's pretty much the only combo, and we don't. If we had it, easy decision. We would probably shove here if we had ace queen, and just go, hey, you got an overpair, fair dues. Okay, sometimes you just got to put your hand up and go. If you have it here, you have it here. That's poker. That's unfortunate. Okay, like if you have a really good read, and if you think this guy's never bluffing, like if it's a 60-year-old man that's played 2 hands in 4 hours, then you could probably get away with it. You can probably get away with. But if you're consistently, bluffing with just complete air in these situations, okay, then eventually it's going to blow up in your face. But then if you're consistently calling here with 10s, okay, you're just allowing people to go for way too thin a value against you. I believe this is overplaying and overcalling our hand. Okay, because unless they give up on the turn, we're going to be all in. Unless they give up on the river, we're going to be all in. All we have is showdown value. Okay, and our showdown value is not beating any of their 3-bet on the flop value, in my opinion. I think this is just completely wrong from GTO. I don't understand the theory behind it at all. This makes no sense. I would love to review this and try to understand what type of logic GTO is trying to, like, because I'm under the impression, okay, if we have a look here. Yeah, look, I'm under the impression that we're only calling when we have a queen, an overpair. We even, I could kind of hear ace king, because, we've got 6 outs, that's 18% equity, that's something. Okay. Aces, obviously. Ace jack, I don't understand. Ace 10, I definitely don't understand. Ace 5, I definitely don't understand. 10s, I just don't understand at all. No, so that's under the gun. Yeah. So yeah, we can fold 35% of the time. What are they talking about? Hang on. Is this based off? No, yeah. Okay, this is based off this one. But then they're saying 99% there. But then why is it saying that I should fold 35% of the time? Oh, different combos? Oh, okay, so the utilizing... How does that have any effect? Why is it different with these and these? Like, why am I folding a spade and a diamond? Is that because we want them to have a spade and a diamond? But there's only one card there, so you think they're 3-betting me on the flop? We're hoping for a backdoor flush? What type of logic is that? Like, unless there's actually a flush on the board, or at least a flush draw, okay, you shouldn't we're calling with 6-5? Why are we calling with 6-5 suited? For what reason? I'm sorry? 8-7? No. 9-8? No. 10-9? No. 10-jack? Why are we calling with gut shots? What are we hoping to hit here? I feel as though GTO is just, this makes 0 sense to me. Absolutely 0 sense to me. Full blown. I would only be calling here with a queen over pair pretty much. Okay, they've polarized themselves, so we got to be polarized ourselves. Okay. You know, maybe their thought process, the GTO's thought process is, oh, we got to balance out our 3-bet calling on this dry static flop. You know, we can't only have a queen here. Okay, but the reality is they only have a queen here, realistically. Okay, what else are they doing this with? Like these are all at such low frequencies, I'm assuming. Surely. Like, surely all these are just a significantly low frequency. To the point where it's just negligible. Absolutely negligible. This makes no sense to me. So yeah, I'm going to die on that hill. That I reckon that's a snap fold straight away. And I'm not overly concerned about that. So moving on to the next hand, cutoff opens, small blind calls. We're in the big blind with some offsuit garbage. Nice snap fold. Don't tell me they're going to play out the hand. They are. See, I don't like how it does this. I don't like how it just randomly plays out the hand. Oh, we would have had trips. Maybe it did it like that so that it tilts me off. But I'm already a little bit tilted from that 10s hand, because I think that the GTO there is just stupid. Moving on to the next hand, cutoff open. We're in the small blind with 5-4 suited. I could definitely hear a call here at some frequency, but I lean towards a fold. You know, this is, yeah, so, oh, we're raising a little bit. Okay, so we're not calling. So, okay, so we're playing a 3-bet fold strategy. Calling a little bit at some frequency with our pocket pairs, some king suited X, some ace suited X. See, I can definitely understand the 3-bet fold strategy here, with concern of allowing the big blind in behind, versus a decently wide open from the cutoff. So I can definitely hear that. But yeah, I reckon this is a fold. And then we also have, like, at some little frequency, so pretty much with all of our suited connectors at little frequencies, we're going to be raising it up, just to balance out our 3-bets there from the small blind. And also they have a lot of good post-flop potential, and also, you know, board coverage as well, when the board comes all low. And it's also a little bit disguised as well. And also a little bit of implied odds. Should, like, ace high with ace with 2 5s, for example, we can win a really, really big pot. And it's also very easy just to let go when we don't hit. Moving on to the next hand, under the gun +2 opens. We're in the low jack with an offsuit king, standard snap fold. Moving on to the next hand, we open under the gun +1, a little bit of a loose open with king jack offsuit. Button 3-bet, so this is going to be, even though they're on the button, because they're 3-betting a very strong under the gun +1 range, this is still going to be a strong range from the button. Maybe not as strong as if it was from the cutoff or hijack, but still very strong considering that they're 3-betting a strong range, despite being, you know, from the button. So I definitely not a raise, definitely not all in. I reckon at some frequency it might be a call, but I can also hear a very easy fold here. Perhaps if it was suited, it would be 100% a call, but playing out of position, I'm going to lean towards a fold here. I reckon suited would be an easy call. So yeah, king jack suited, Still a fold at a decent frequency, and we're playing more of a 3-bet or fold strategy, kind of calling with some pocket pairs, and then a lot of our under the gun bluffs that have a lot of good playability despite being out of position. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just due to being out of position, but then also a hand that opens the door for overplaying opportunities where we can get ourselves into tough situations, lose big pots due to being outkicked, thinking that we're good. The psychology of, we've got a jack kicker, king jack, it's a premium, and we might get overly attached to it. End up overplaying our hand, getting overly attached to our hand, not wanting to let go of our hand. And end up losing a big pot, and also we definitely don't want to be raising out of position when we're already in a heads up situation. We don't want to overblow the pot and end up playing a big pot heads up out of position unless we have a hand that requires narrowing down their range a little bit. Moving on to the next hand, hijack opens when the cutoff with queen 10 suited. I reckon this is a little bit too, probably a little bit on the line, but I reckon this is still going to be a standard fold. Even despite, so it's pretty much just on the line. King 10 suited, king ace 10 suited, standard raises, but then queen jack suited, that will be the, so we're playing a 3-better fold strategy, because we've got 3 players behind, and if we call here, at least one of them's going to come along with us, and you want to be avoiding multi-way pots because they're the highest possibility for mistakes to occur. So we've got some offsuit garbage facing a very tight under the gun +1 open, so standard snap fold from the button. Moving on to the next hand, cutoff opens when the small blind with ace king off. We do a standard 3-bet. Big blind gets out of the way. Cutoff comes in with the 4-bet. So cutoff open, a little bit, wide open from the cutoff. So we are able to 3-bet a little bit wider from the small blind. Therefore, they're able to 4-bet wider from the cutoff. If we call here, we're going to have SBR of just over 1, about 1.5. Well, exactly 1.5, sorry. No, just a little bit under 1.5 actually. So pretty much going to be all in on the flop. So I reckon definitely too strong to fold. So I reckon this is another standard all-in candidate with ace king. Deny equity. Potentially deny equity to hands, and avoid putting yourself in situations where you're just gonna say goodbye to your 25 bigs. Should you call, and then a raise there to any other size will just kind of create the exact same situation where you're going to have SBR less than 1 or in and around 1, and you're going to be all in on the flop anyways. And you're going to have a lot of situations where you allow yourself, you are acting first, so you could potentially deny equity afterwards, so maybe that could be a little bit of a reason to call. But yeah, I reckon all-in's the standard play here, potentially deny equity to hands that you're flipping with, and allow yourself to realize your own personal equity as well. Moving on to the next hand, under the gun +2 opens. We're in the cutoff with king queen. This is a decently close one, but I reckon because we are offsuit, this is going to be a fold. If we were suited, I believe this will be a raise. Yes, a king queen standard raise there. But yeah, because we're offsuit, we're missing out on. Oh no! So it's about a 50-50. Okay, well that makes sense. So yeah, pretty much just on the line. King 10 more than king queen. Interesting, maybe based on that psychology thing. No, because it's suited, that's why. So yeah, it can kind of go either way there from the cutoff. Versus a very strong under the gun +2 range, which was the idea of the folding it. One of those hands that could potentially get you into out-kicked, but too strong to feel like you can easily let go of it. Next hand, some offsuit garbage facing a raise. Going to be a standard snap fold to finish it off. So 10 hands, 12 moves, 91% GTO score. The main inaccuracy move and a couple of those correct moves came from that tens hand that just, in my personal opinion, made no sense in my head. When they 3-bet us on the flop, I just don't really see how they could have any natural bluffs. It's pretty much just a massively polarized range, air or nothing. And I just don't really see any real purpose, because we're already confirmed to ourselves, okay, well, if we're effectively calling 83 bigs there, rather than just the 18 extra bigs that we're calling at the, it's, you got to be, I've said it before, but you got to be thinking a couple streets ahead and what this call or raise means for future streets, and you always got to be thinking what implications does this have. How does this affect how I'm going to have to play future streets? It's similar to, coming back to that SBR thing. But yeah, because of that call there on the flop, SBR is going to be, in and around 1 on the turn. So at minimum, we're going to probably be all in here by the river. And if we're either going to have to call off the inevitable bluff if we believe that they've got absolute air, which is because they just don't have any natural bluffs here. It's not like anything's bricked. It's not like they could have a flush draw that we can say we're ahead of. It's not like they have a straight draw that we can say we're ahead of. Like all straight draws are gut shots, and you can't have a gut shot in a pair on this board. You can't have. There's no flush draw yet, and you can't consider a backdoor as good enough to be like, oh, I've got a pair and a backdoor flush draw. Like you got King 8 of spades or something. And we have also capped ourselves. So we can't have any of those. Wait, did we cap ourselves or did they cap themselves? Hang on. So yeah, we capped ourselves. So we raised, then they 3-bet, then we called. So we've capped ourselves. Okay. So they know that. Then we give them a little bit of rope to do something with, going with about 1/3 sizing. Okay, then they come in with the 3-bet. And that's just going to be a queen, or sometimes a queen. When it's on such a dry, static board, there's just nothing else aside from just complete air. And, if they're doing it with complete air, sometimes you just got to put your hand up and go, fair dues. Okay? Because, if they're capable of bluffing on that flop, then they're gonna see it through, and you got to ask yourself, are you prepared to call off 83 bigs here? Are you prepared to stack off here with pocket tens? And my answer at that point was no, I'm not prepared to stack off with pocket tens. Because mostly because I didn't think they were lying. But B, even if they are lying, I'm not prepared to, put all my money on the table to see if they are, or to test if they are. So yeah, that hand made no sense to me. But yeah, 91% GTO score. If you take out that inaccuracy move, they'll probably bump up to 92, 95, and that's what I personally believe it should be. With the other correct move coming from that 50-50 of the queen, the king-queen offsuit hand, can kind of really go either way. So I hope you guys learned something today. Have a good one. Enjoy yourselves, and as always, play well.